You try to do your research and watch as much film as possible. Spivey, the quarterbacks, he's a winner. They won a national championship. He threw for over 3,000 yards. They're going to test our secondary. We fully anticipate that. Timmy Phillips is one of their running backs. I recruited Tim when I was at Central Michigan, and very fittingly, he was also named one of their team captains. Tim is very dynamic. He's elusive. He played for us as a true freshman on a football team that finished ranked top 25 in the country and won a bowl game and upset a top-ranked opponent in Michigan State. So Tim's going to bring a lot of elusiveness. So we've tried to do our research, but again, when you go into a first game, the thing that really makes you uneasy is, first of all, turning the football over. The physicality of the game, because so much throughout the course of training camp, it's you pick your spots when you tackle live, it's your tackling by your defense, it's turnovers, and it's special teams. So many different things, and there'll be a number of games this first week of the season that'll come down with special teams and turnovers. So you really try to educate your players and trick plays and eye discipline and all the things that we've harped throughout the course of training camp really come into full play that first game.
What went into Rajon Neal kind of keeping that #1 running back spot over Marlon? It looked like Marlon gave him a pretty good push early in camp.
He did. Marlon really progressed throughout the course of training camp. He was slowed for about 3 days with a slight ankle injury, but he's fine now. And Rajon was just a model of consistency. I thought he really improved in his pass protection skills, which he needed a lot of work on that area, and I think he's really done a great job of embracing that role and just, again, understanding the run reads. Does he still have a lot of work to do? Absolutely. But I just think it was a day-to-day level of consistency each and every day.
How many of those guys, the running backs, do you feel kind of comfortable playing, and how many tight ends do you feel comfortable playing on Saturday? You got a lot of numbers there.
Well, when you want to play with a level of physicality, you always need running backs. And right now, Rajon Neal and Marlon Lane will get the bulk of the carries. But Tom Smith has come on a little bit. Alden Hill needs to be a special teams performer for us and get the tough yards for us. But those two will receive the bulk of the carries. Tight end wise, that's another position that's work in progress right now. And so Brendan Downs will get the bulk of the work there, but we want to be able to get into some 2 tight end sets and some 3 tight end sets. So the development of the younger players at that position are going to be critical as well.
Butch, where's your passing game better now than it was 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Well, I'd like to think fundamentally and technique-wise, and we haven't been able to install all the offense that we wanted to just because of the youth, at the wide receiver position, but also the inexperience at quarterback as well. And we want to own something. You can put all these plays in, but if you don't execute it, it doesn't matter. And we don't run a designer offense. We're going to be an execution-based offense. So, it's mastering the fundamentals, and that's what a lot of people don't realize is you put a slant route in. Well, the slant route, you have to practice it versus free access, cover 3 off man, press man, inside technique press man, outside technique press man, cover 2. So one route that you may just see, well, that's a slant route, there's 4 or 5, different slight technique adjustments that have to be, you have to be owned. You have to master the technique, and that's why we talk to our players all training at camp about not only owning your conditioning, but owning your technique, knowing the why. Why do we do this? Why do we need to do this? Why do we need to stem, the corner this way? And also understanding the reception areas. And then them also understanding where they at in the progression, of the route. What happens with a lot of young receivers is they may have a 15-yard dig route, and they may run a 10 or 12-yard dig route. And they're saying, Coach, I was wide open. Well, you're number 2 or number 3 in the progression. That's why your route's at 15 yards. So there's a whole process that goes into developing young wide receivers.